Welcome to something to talk about.
Yeah, really loud.
Welcome to something to talk about.
All right, there you guys go. That's my new intro. And welcome to something to talk about. Like my daughter said, hi, welcome. I don't know which video I'm putting out first, so it's either the other ones I filmed today or that one is going to be the first time that that I use that. Believe it or not, that was the best take I could get from my 3-year-old daughter. I thought it was pretty good. I just had her say it twice. I was going to edit it, but I kind of like hearing me like, no, just do it louder. Don't screw this up. All right. Welcome to something to talk about what she was saying. And we have another what if small council. What if Robb Stark won his independence? Crazy. Yeah, no, this is fun. So I haven't put out my Daemon Targaryen one yet. Like, you guys have already seen it, but by the time of me filming this, I haven't put it out yet. So I don't know how you guys feel about maybe people watched it, maybe they didn't. Maybe it was people are ripping me apart. But so this is just my what if. This is all my opinion. I always have to state that. This is a small council. Why am I explaining it? I got this right here. What is this? I will be making a what if videos in the vein of my in the vein of small council. I love that I have a typo there. This stemmed from a comment from Samuel Coomes, who commented on my Daemon Blackfyre Kingsguard vid asking for small council for him. This has stemmed to me thinking about other would-be kings. I will only be using existing lore, and I will not make up any characters from scratch. This is all based on the lore, and it's just my opinion. Please tell me your small council in the comments. I'll be explaining the scenario in the next paragraph, but I just want to say, like, when this guy first pitched it, he kind of made up characters, and it was really cool. He's like, oh, and then this guy from Pentos that he makes up, and that was interesting. But if I'm going to do these what ifs and do different timelines, I really want, like, the difference between fanfic and alternate history, and I want to be closer to alternate history. So if you watch any alternate history on YouTube or anything like that, or read any Henry Turtledove books, right, I want to be more of using the world that we have now to show, opposed to me making new characters and moving the story in a different place. So this specific scenario, and also, it's all my opinion. If you guys think I'm way off, tell me I'm off. Just be respectful, please. That's all I'm asking. Okay, so this specific scenario, the split point of this what if is Edmure not attacking Tywin at the Battle of the Fords. Tywin is never pushed back, therefore he never joins the Battle of the Blackwater. He stays there. And instead of Tywin follows Robb west to the Gold Road, and then in place, Robb and Brendan have a plan. In the place, the Robb and Brendan have a plan ambush, and they crush him. So that's the change, right? And I'll get to what happens after that. But instead of them trying to cross, right, and Edmure pushing him back at the Battle of the Fords, and then they just leave, he lets them cross and then lets them go chase Robb up the Gold Road, because Robb and Brennan tell Edmure, like, no, we had an ambush spot. We had a perfect spot where we're going to just take them out. And they never get to do that. So in this timeline, they do. Don't be like, and then what happens at Battle of the Blackwater? Does Stannis take over? I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about this. No, somehow that doesn't happen. This is just my catalyst of how Robb gets his kingdom. All right. And then they hold Tywin hostage, forcing a peace agreement, and Robb starts the kingdom of the North and Rivers. So that's it. This is not if he took the Iron Throne. This is Robb as the kingdom of the North and Rivers. So this is them suing for peace in the Iron Throne, acknowledging the border, right? Which is super crazy. Okay. So where was I? Though Robb still does marry Jane, the Red Wedding doesn't happen. So the Freys don't have Tywin to work with anymore, so they don't full on do it. Roose calls Ramsay off from burning Winterfell, so Winterfell doesn't get sacked, but Theon does still, fake kill Bran and Rickon, and the Northern kick the Ironborn out. So that's the timeline I'm looking at, right? So this would be taking place beginning of Storm of Swords, right? Blackwater happens way different. Tywin gets captured. They sue for peace. They kind of get the Ironborn out. They make it back to Winterfell. It isn't burned to the ground by Ramsay. Theon is then taken hostage. Okay. That's it. I'm not like going on with the story and this is how the next book went. No. Now I'm just stopping there. That's the scenario. That's how this kingdom gets formed. Now let's look at the small council. There you go. All right. So I actually have a spot for everybody. Have a character for every spot, which it's really hard to come up with a couple of them, but I was able to do it with this one. So, yeah, so let's start with Master of Coin. I went with Wyman Manderly. I know you think he should be hand. Trust me, there are a ton of good hands in the North, and almost everybody on this list, I almost made hand at one point. He should be Master of Ships, right? Or you think he should be Master of Ships because he's building a fleet. No, I have a better Master of Ships. Wait for it. I have someone else for that. Wyman oversees the biggest port and city. And not to mention, he started minting coin for Robb. So even though he would make, he's one of many people who make a good hand, or he's one of a few people who make a good Master of Ships, he is the only person, I think, who would make a good Master of Coin. He is a great choice for Master of Coin and kind of the only one in the North. Not a lot of shrewd, not only politicians, but money people in the North, right? Wyman Manderly, boom. I do think that once eventually he'll probably move up to being hand. But you could say that about literally everybody on this list has hand written all over them. But no, I only got one hand. So, okay, so Master of Whispers is a really difficult one. I've been putting this list together for multiple other kings. I'm not going to say what they are now. Maybe I've put out teasers, but I've put them together for other kings, and Master of Whispers is always a difficult one because you don't just toss a random lord in the Master of Whispers. It's actually somebody who needs to be qualified. That's why there's only a few Master of Whispers throughout the entire Song of Ice and Fire lore, and it's always like a Master Thief, a Master Spy, or somebody with magical abilities, right? Or something like that, right? Like Varys, isn't a lord of whatever, and he just put him in here. No, he was a spy master, a master of secrets in, Pentos, and then and then they brought him over. So, and then, other ones like Larys Strong, maybe doing magic stuff, and of course, Bloodraven. So, all right, I had to give it to Howland Reed. Bro, what do I need to say? He's perfect for a Master of Whispers. Yes, he could be hand. I agree. So in this scenario, Howland would have helped Robb retake Mount Caelan. And then Howland starts whispering all these truths in facts to Robb because Howland knows so much and he's involved in so much of the past. And he starts kind of giving him really good counsel, giving him some ace counsel, some ace advice. And then once they smart the small council form, once the small council is formed and they retake Winterfell, and then he really starts his kingdom up proper, Howland it gets called to Winterfell to serve on the small council. He's pretty much Bloodraven, but as far as we know, not as creepy and evil, right? I know we are not certain that Howland Reed is a Greenseer, but he is something. He's magical somehow, right? Like he most likely went and talked to green men. He's got some old gaudy powers, right? So he's got something. I think he would make a perfect little Master of Whispers. I think Howland Reed is an amazing Master of Whispers, and I love that idea. It was really hard for me to come up with Master of Whispers. I had a few other people. All these guys kind of moved around this list. This is really challenging, actually. So the next guy I'm going to get to, I had him at one point, and then I even had his Maester at one point as a Master of Whispers. But then I thought Alan Reed, and I'm like, duh! He's like less evil Blood Raven. Maybe. He might be just as evil. We don't know what he's doing in that swamp. All right. Master of Laws, Roose Bolton. Yeah, I almost had him as Whispers. He had to go somewhere. Okay, Robb has to put him on the list because you can't get Roose angry. The only thing that's preventing him, and not that Robb knows this, but the only thing that's preventing Walder Frey and Roose to do something is not keeping Roose happy. You got to keep Roose happy, and that's what he does here. And he knows that he has to keep him happy. So I almost had him as Hand. But at the same time, Robb knows he has to keep him happy, but you can't give him too much power either. It is a balance with Roose. You give him enough power that he doesn't feel like he's being ignored, but if you give him too much power, he'll probably kill you, right? So he would make a cold and calculating Master of Laws. I think he would actually be really good. It will eventually not turn out well, but I do think that Robb would name him that, and Robb doesn't know that. But I'm sure Ramsay eventually is brought to justice for what he did to Lady Hornwood. Of course, in this world, Ramsay didn't burn Winterfell. But he also, in this world, he still did awful stuff to Lady Hornwood. Roose would have to make a choice. Although he would probably gladly advise Robb to kill him, but that's not what I mean by eventually it won't go well. Eventually, I do think Roose will grab for more power. I don't think I don't think keeping Roose alive is going to help anybody out eventually. Sure, make a Master of Laws, but I think him and Walder since Walder is still mad because in this timeline, Robb still did marry Jane Westerling. I think that Roose would eventually team up with Walder Frey and do something awful, but maybe Helen Reed's going to see it and he's going to be like, get Roose Bolton or something. All right, so we got Master of Ships. Who was better than Wyman Manderley? Well, dear listener, this isn't just the North. This is the Riverlands too. North, the king of the North and rivers, right? That means we got Seaguard, we got the Mallisters, Master of Ships, Jason Mallister. Now we're talking. He is the perfect Master of Ships. And the only reason Wyman isn't, if he wasn't around, Wyman would be my Master of Ships. He will most likely need to take the fight to the Ironborn for messing with the North. I'm assuming they're not going to let sleeping dogs lie. They're going to fight the Ironborn. That means that working with Wyman to raise a fleet along with long ships from Bear Island. He is an old badass, and we know, and we need a Riverland representation. Plus, it seems like Robb really trusted Jason with a ton in the main books. Yeah, because he might possibly have a will or he's involved in the will. Like Jason Mallister is actually rather trusted from Robb, and I think that he would offer him a small council spot. Not only because he is really qualified to be Master of Ships, and he's probably really taking care of knocking out the Ironborn and really helping with that. And I think the idea of after the North gets their power back, of Jason Mallister showing up to the Ironborn with a bunch of to just kick their butts would be awesome. All right, so we got 3 spots left, and that is Grandmaster, Lord Commander, and then Hand. So Grandmaster is always a weird one, right? So Grandmaster is a weird one because the king doesn't pick him. The maesters do that themselves at the Citadel. And it being a separate kingdom makes it weird because we don't really know what another kingdom on on Westeros with a Grand Maester would look like. We don't know if when Dorne was its own kingdom, did maesters go there? I'm assuming they did, but did they have one at the main court? Did Dorne have a Grand Maester? I don't know. So that makes it difficult. But I'm sure Robb can appoint Luwin, and the Citadel wouldn't argue with it. I'm not a huge fan of Luwin, but you can do worse. And also, this is kind of a placeholder if you guys think, no, the Citadel would absolutely name somebody other than the Winterfell Maester, which is Maester Luwin. And I also know what you're thinking. Maester Luwin died. No, I looked at the timeline of where all these people are. Okay. Maester Luwin's fine. It's right before he died. That's why Roose had to call Ramsay back from burning Winterfell, but he would have had enough time if we did it right after Battle of the Fords would have happened, right? So, yeah, enough time to call back, hopefully. If not, then Luwin's dead. All right, Lord Commander. Yeah, Brendan Tully. No surprise there. So I made my Riverlands Kingsguard video, so I just plucked him right from that, right? So he is the best and pretty much the only choice. He already protects his family. He doesn't have or want a family or seat of his own. Oh, and he's like an epic and legendary badass. He would go down in history as a legendary Lord Commander, like one of the most of all time. Yeah, no, absolutely. Brendan Tully has to be a Lord Commander. Okay, so for hand, you guys are like, who? Because I named everyone who you probably would have guessed, right? Except for Great John. I did name Great John. And no, it's not the Great John. It's a little weirder, but I put a lot of thought into it. And I'm going with Robert Glover. All right. This was so freaking hard. I wrote had. This is so freaking hard. There are so many good picks. I pretty much had every member except for Luwin in this spot at one point. Everyone in the small council I had being his hand at one point. But then when I realized that, or I even had Theon, but then when I realized that the betrayal would have still happened, I had to remove Theon. I had the Great John too, but he doesn't seem like he'd make a good politician, and that's what you need from a hand, right? Robert is from a strong house, and he has a ton of respect, and it seems like a very smart and capable man. He has strong ties with Wyman because we see him working with Wyman Manderly later on, along with being close to Roose during the War of the Five Kings. And since in this timeline, Roose never ordered him to march on Duskendale, so he probably had good time working with Roose, right? So he might not be the most exciting pick, but I put a ton of thought into this, and I really did. I really think that I had to not go sensational here, because going sensational would be like, oh, Roose, whoa, I can't believe he put Roose. You know, Great John, of course, because Great John loves him. But would you name Great John? Like, Great John can be in charge of your vanguard, right? Great John can help protect you in battle, and just be your hype man, because he's pretty much like Robb's like hype man, Flava Flav, like King of the North, like that's how he does. But he's an amazing character, and I love Grey John, don't worry, but I don't see him as a good hand. Robert, what he has later on in the books when he is hanging out in White Harbor with Wyman Manderly, they're scheming, they're politicking. He is smart, and he is like absolutely a capable person. And I think that he is people kind of forget about him because, you know, he's not really represented in the show, and the character he is represented in the show isn't great. And I really do just think, yeah, this isn't the sexy choice, the sensational choice, but I think this is the right choice. I think you name Robert Glover. And yeah, so that's all I got. So to recap, I have Wyman Manderly, Master of Coin. Oh, yes. Howland Reed as Master of Whispers. Roose Bolton as Master of Laws for now. Jason Alistair as Master of Ships. Luwin as Grandmaster, or anyone else can be in there. Lord Commander of the Kingsguard is Brendan Tully. And then last but very not least is Robert Glover as hand. So let me know. Keep in mind, if you are different, if your list is different, I'm cool with that. I respect it. Please respect that my list is different. Tell me what you think in the comments. But again, I'm going to stress, be respectful, and I'll be respectful. And yeah, I let me know what you guys think. As of me recording this, I haven't seen how you guys responded for the Daemon one. So let's hope it was good. And it's been a while since I filmed that one, and I'm going to put it out, I think, next week. And then we'll see when this one gets put out. And I got other ones in the books. I got other would-be kings. If you have any suggestions, let me know. But chances are I already in working on it, or I already have it like picked out, not like written, but little notes on my phone. I go, this character, this character, this character. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe if you did. What do you think of my list? And yeah, peace.